What's up, everyone? All right, so finishing the morning here, up $585. You can see right here. Zoom in. We'll break down all of the trades in a few minutes. We are live at the Inner Circle. This is our third seminar here. So you can see the screen behind me and everyone out here hanging out. We're going to do a little, after the midday recap, we're going to go over a couple of things coming up at Warrior Trading. We're going to demo the new chat room. We're going to demo the new trading simulator, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so anyways, we'll break down all of today's trades in today's midday market recap. All right, everybody. So we're going to do our midday market recap, and let's see, going to stream on Facebook also. I'll go full screen here for 1 second for those of you in the chat room. Let's see, there we go. Oh, not quite full screen. Well, close enough. So here we are at the Inner Circle in Orlando. Those are all of our Inner Circle students, Inner Circle members. They're waving, saying hello. So today was a decent day of trading. For me, it was the momentum was a little less than what I was hoping for. I mean, I'm up $585. I was hoping for, a $5,000 day, because that would have gotten me back into really kind of the top of, after having that pullback on Friday. So this morning when we were looking at the watch list, and of course watch lists are uploaded and posted on YouTube so you guys can see them, the watch list didn't have a lot that looked really good on it. We had a couple of small caps, but for the most part it was kind of thin. We had AVGR as a maybe. The float was like 780,000 shares, so a pretty low float. And we had Cali on there as a possibility, but it wasn't something I was really too serious about. So for the most part today, we had a pretty thin watch list. Now, there are many days where I've said, all right, guys, I'm not expecting a lot because the gap scanner is dead, and then the bell rings, a stock pops up, I jump into it on the first 1 minute pullback, and next thing you know, it's a $5,000 day. So just because the gap scanner looks a little light doesn't mean I've ruled out the possibility that this could still be a great day. But once the bell rang, we had AVGR, and it popped up to a high of, I don't know, like $1.60 or $1.65. You can see my net profit on it is only $215. So, kind of a small winner on it with two trades. I'll move this over just a teeny bit. AVGR. So my first entry on this was just after the red to green move. The red to green move entry would have been at $1.37. And I got in just a little on the higher side at $1.44 and $1.45. I thought that looked like a safer entry, so what I was seeing at $1.45 was a pretty big seller, and when we were seeing a lot of buying, I thought that would be enough buying for that seller to get taken out, and we would move higher. So I was in at $1.45 with 5,000 shares. It pops up to 54, and I'm selling a little bit at 49, 51, and 54, because I could see pretty much instantly that this was not going to be a stock that moves 30 cents or something like that. It's going to be 5, 7, 8 cent moves, and I got to start taking profit as soon as I have it. So I sold for an average of 5 cents per share, which was $250. I then got back in it. It dropped down to a low of, what was it? I don't know, 35 or something like that. It pops back up. I got back in for a retest of the highs, and I ended up losing about $1, about a penny per share. So it was about a $35 loss. It was a quarter of a penny or something, or 3/4 of a penny. So a small loss with 5,000 shares, not a big deal. So from $250 to $215 on that trade. And again, guys, $200 a day. We say that's the daily goal for a beginner trader. Get in, get out. I got in, I grabbed it, I got out. It was not the most obvious setup. It wasn't the absolute easiest, but it was fairly straightforward. Next trade was AIPT. On this one, this was not on our watch list. This one hit our momentum scanner. We scroll back here. Hit the momentum scanner at $1.24 and $1.25. It then pulls back for a moment, and I'm watching it thinking, all right, there might be something in this one for me. It had a little bit of a gap pre-market, so I liked that. And I liked that it had room on the daily chart up to $1.92, which is the 200 moving average. So I was like, all right, from here to here, this is good potential. So I'll give it a stab. And on this one, I jumped in with 7,500 shares. Again, using my 2,500 share order size. So 3 orders of 2,500 shares. I do that because number one, my default order size has been 2,500 on my hotkeys. Number two, as soon as I get in, I can tell if there's a hidden seller with that first order. If there's like 500 shares on the ask and I press the buy button and that 500 shares is still there, I'm going to think there's a hidden seller, because since I'm buying 2,500, I should have just taken out that guy on the ask, and it should be now from 25 to 26. If that is the case, I'm happy to press the buy button 2 more times. And what I usually do in my order entry area is I'll type in $1.35. And then if I press it 3 times, I'm sending 3 limit orders at $1.35, which I'm going to get filled at market price, which in this case was like $1.24, $1.25, $1.26 as it's squeezing up. And it has the added benefit of just kind of letting you leg into a trade. When you go in full size 10,000 shares or even 7,500, and then you realize there's a hidden seller, now you got to get out right away. And it's not always easy to piece out. So this gives me a little bit of flexibility there. So my orders, let's see, let me scroll down. So I got in this one at $1.24, $1.25. It pops up to $1.33. I put the order on the ask to sell half, right? So I'm up 8 cents, 7 cents with 7,500 shares. That's $400. So I'm going to sell half. I try to sell half, and you can see I only fill 20 shares, just enough for Lightspeed to collect their $2 from me. Rob, I hope you're happy. So $2, not a big deal, whatever. So got my $2 commission on that, or $2.50. And then immediately I'm like, if I'm not filling on the ask, how much time do I give it? In this case, I gave it 1 second, basically, maybe 2 seconds, but around a second. And as soon as I wasn't filling on the ask, I thought to myself, I better hit the bid and lock it up. I better sell half on the bid. So I hit the bid at 32 and sold half right at 32, out 3,740 shares. So I've sold half. Now I've realized a little bit of profit. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to sell another quarter, because I'm now at this point not seeing as much buying as I was hoping to see. So I sell another quarter at 29. Let's see. 29, and I sell the rest at 20. Does this turn off? Yeah. I think the battery's dead. Yeah. Double A. All right, 2 double A's. So, so then I sold the rest at 28 and 29. I was like, I'm just going to take profit on this. I'm going to sell it, and I'll be happy with that. That was because we had a 15,000 share seller that popped up at 33. So as soon as I saw that 15,000 share seller, I was like, all right, this thing is either someone's shorting it or someone's trying to sell. But either way, I'm out. I'm going to take my profit, and I'll look for the next trade. So with that, I made $69, which is about 5 cents on 7,500 shares. Again, like we talked about earlier, I feel more comfortable going in with 7,500 shares and getting out with $360 2 minutes later or a minute later than I do holding 750 shares for an hour. Even though you think, shoot, 750 shares is less risk, less money on the table. For me, anytime I'm in a position, I feel exposure risk, and I don't like that feeling. And so I alleviate that by taking large positions for short periods of time, knowing that with a 7,500 share position, I can very quickly make $350, $750, maybe $1,500. If this had popped up to $1.50, I could have potentially doubled over $1.50 and had a 15,000 share position with a cost basis of, at that point, maybe around $1.42. Now with 15,000 shares, it squeezes up to $1.60, $1.65, it gets halted on a circuit breaker. My back of the mind target is $1.92, which is a 200 moving average. It goes up to $1.92, that could have been an $8,000 winner, just like that. Now for me, that's the potential, that if this goes the right way and I can add, this could be a huge winner. And for me, it would be very hard for me to do that with small size. So I have to be a little bit more aggressive and willing to step up to the plate. But then I mitigate that by trading for short periods of time. So those were my 2 trades today, and I was perfectly willing to look for a third or a fourth or fifth trade, but the momentum scanner didn't give us anything, and right now we are kind of in that little bit of a shift between really hot markets and sort of slower markets. And so one of the things that I struggled with last year was adjusting to that shift, and that shift started in April. Things started to slow down last year in April. I was red in the month of April by, I think, $4,500, $5,000. And that was, that was really disappointing. That was my first red month in like a year and a half, and I just felt like, I'm just started this $583 challenge. This is so disappointing. And of course, I have everyone watching me, and I feel like I was, making this joke the other day or yesterday that, I feel like Tom Brady, at the Super Bowl, missing an easy catch, and everyone's gonna say, "Oh, it's time for him to retire." And I feel that pressure. If I don't continue to have really, really good months, people are gonna say, "Oh, he's lost it. His strategy doesn't work anymore." And there's just that constant pressure that I have to continue to perform. And of course that, leads right into superstition about, the different colors that I wear, and, turning the lights on and off 4 times before I start trading. And, it all becomes very stressful. But fortunately, I was able to bounce back in May, although June, July, August were also slow last year. And then come September, I had a second red month, down $4,500. So from April to September, I only net about $30,000 in profit. And I was feeling really frustrated because I felt like, I'm supposed to be up here making good money, and I'm only making $30,000 in 6 months. That doesn't seem acceptable. Now I know that's $60,000 a year. That's the $200 a day minimum goal. So, that's good. And for a lot of you guys, you'd be really happy with that. But for me, I wasn't happy. And then October comes around, and the momentum picks back up, and I start getting a little more aggressive. And in November, I have my 2 best months, or my 2 best days of all time, a $33,000 day, the next day, $40,000 day. I finished November with $80,000 of profit, my best month ever by a lot. December, I made another $82,000, and in January, I made $117,000. So in 3 months, I made $250,000, which is crazy, because in the 6 months that preceded that 3-month hot streak, I only made $30,000. And now I've got $250,000. And then here comes February, and I lose 10 grand. And so in March, I was very concerned about, what this month was going to hold for me. If I was going to be able to bounce back, or if this was going to be the beginning of another 6-month slow period that I was just going to have to deal with. And fortunately, March was pretty good, and I'm finishing with right around $43,000 in profit. So this month, we have bounced back a little bit. We saw some really good opportunities earlier in the month on RKDA, INNT, TENX, and DXR. Those are a couple of the momentum stocks that really, I think, got people excited and kind of sparked this big cycle of hot momentum. And the last couple days or the last week, it seems like it has slowed down a little bit. And I have to be quicker to adjust. Today, $585 was good. I was able to do 2 scalps, but I wouldn't have been able to do these 2 trades starting with 10 or 15,000 shares. If I tried to start with that type of size, I most likely would have gotten myself in trouble, and I would have ended up taking losses. So that's the interesting thing, where when you're in a cold market, you might be able to make money on a trade with 5,000 shares, but you can't make money with 10,000. And it seems counterintuitive because you think, geez, if I just take more size, I'll make more money. But that's not always true. And the reason is because of slippage, number one, and just the fact that some of these stocks being thinly traded, there's just not enough of a market to absorb a 10, 15,000 share exit when you try to sell and hit the bid. So one of the things that's important for me is to really be mindful of seeing those red flags and those, caution indicators. Like today, the fact that the two stocks we were watching, AVGR and Cali, and I guess AIPT, that neither of them are really doing anything incredible today. AVGR, 12.6 million shares of volume. It's got a lot of volume. It's up 22%, but it's pretty much at the same price that it opened at. It's just been bouncing up and down. And there were a couple of easy opportunities in the morning, and since then it's just been choppy. So, getting into the habit of taking those quick profits and being willing to adjust your expectations is important. I know that there's that feeling that if you make $80,000 in a month, I should be able to expect that I can make $80,000 every month for the rest of the year. Now, I'm finishing the first quarter with $150,000 of profit. So that means I'm tracking for $600,000 on the year. And maybe that'll happen, but it might not, because I could have 3 months or 4 months that are really, really slow. So my goal this year is 400,000, maybe $500,000. That would be a nice target for me. And at the same time, if we do have a couple of slow months, I have to be content to adjust my expectations back to just making $500 a day. This might be a market where $500 a day is the best I can do, and I should be really happy with that, knowing that I can grind on $500 a day until things open up. Now, for those of you that watch the Discovery Channel, who in here watches the Discovery Channel? By show of hands, everyone here is raising their hands. Discovery Channel. I wouldn't mind being, the star of a new show. But many of you guys are aware that The Deadliest Catch is getting ready to start. I think it's their 14th season, which is very exciting for me because it's one of my favorite shows. And in The Deadliest Catch, we noticed that there will be, it's almost like they have the same kind of thing that we have, hot streaks and cold streaks. They'll find a school of crab, and they're putting down their pots, and they're just picking them up, pot after pot, 500 crabs, 700 crab. It's crazy. They're just coming over the rails. It's amazing. And then they'll come into a period where things are slow. They lay out a string of 100 crab pots, whatever it is, and they're picking them up, and they're all empty. It's one after another after another. And when they have a string of empty pots, do you think that the smart move is to set them back on that same location? No, obviously not. You have to adjust. You have to adapt. You have to adapt to changing information. New information comes in, and you have to change your analysis. So they thought that was a good spot, and well, turns out it's not. Things changed, and they have to adjust. And that's what we have to do as traders. If we want to just keep doing the same thing every single day, we're going to realize that what worked in January may not work in February. And that feels confusing because you're like, well, geez, the setup that worked so well last month is not working. Buying at half dollars and whole dollars, this made me $117,000 in January, and in February I lost 20 grand or 10 grand. How is that possible? And what is good in one market may not be good in another. And it's, again, the ebb and the flow of momentum. So I sort of see these analogies when it comes to what we do as traders, and anything I do, whether it's race car driving or skiing or tennis or watching TV shows. I can kind of see in all these different things how that relates to trading, and my world revolves so much around what I do. And I'm sure it does for all of you guys, because this is it's very emotionally consuming. Even though right now I spend about half my day trading and the other half of my day working on the different projects that we're running at Warrior Trading, the trading portion of my day is all-encompassing, and I think about it for the rest of the day. If I have a bad day of trading, I'm thinking about it for the whole rest of the day. If I have a good day of trading, I'm thinking about that and what I could do better and how I could make the next day better. What my daily profit targets are and all that stuff. So taking time to sort of step back and draw these comparisons between trading and other things that you're doing, I think is a good idea. And I know for me is where I've had a hotkey mistake and I've lost $3,000, and I've been like, gosh, darn it, this is insane. I think on, The Deadliest Catch, where they are, bringing a pod over and the thing that they drop it on breaks, and that's a $3,000 piece of equipment. And it's the luck of the draw. Do they take it personally the way I take a loss personally? You know, I'm such an idiot for this or that? No, it's just what it is. It's the cost of doing business. So you have to be able to forgive yourself when you have those mistakes, because they will happen. And you know, you just kind of have to get into this frame of mind that you got to be very quick to adapt, and you got to be able to, you know, be in the zone, but at the same time recognize what's happening around you, because it's very easy to be so tunnel vision that you're focusing just on the level 2 of this stock, and you're not thinking about what's happening outside of it. What's happening on these momentum stocks? Is the entire market strong for momentum, or is it weak for momentum? Because that is going to impact the way you should be trading this. And so anyways, just some food for thought. And you know, that's pretty much it for today's midday market recap, just going over those trades and a couple of my thoughts as we finish here the month of March. So how many of you guys are trading in the sim right now? Okay, good. So at 1 o'clock in about 2 hours, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming this year at Warrior Trading. And I'm going to show you guys a preview of our new trading simulator. And I'll give you guys a little preview and a walkthrough of our new chat room software. So we'll do that at 1 o'clock, so that's coming up soon. And I think you guys will be excited to see some of the things that we've been working on for the last 6 months since our last Inner Circle seminar in New York City. All right, so that's coming up then. And we'll do, in just a couple minutes, I'll talk a little bit about the cryptocurrency class that we've added. Let's see, we're going to take a break. So why don't we take a 15, 20-minute break, let you guys get some water, do your thing, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the cryptocurrency class before we go into lunch. All right? That sounds like a game plan. Okay. All right, and for those of you guys watching on Facebook Live, I will see you all back in the chat room on Monday morning. The market's closed on Friday, so it's going to be a long weekend. But if you guys want to join us at 1 o'clock, I will live stream our product launch of the new trading sim and the new chat room. All right, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye.
If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.